Skull and Bones gameplay. New details are here. I literally subscribed to Game Informer's digital article source so I could read it and bring the new details to you. Skull and Bones gameplay, we already had that trailer, already broke it down. Now we have information about Endgame live service. Well, we have a little bit of information about the Endgame. I think what they said about live service and Endgame actually is a picture into what it will look like. I'm going to put all of that right here at the beginning of the stream so you don't have to go searching for it. I pulled out choice quotes from the article. I'll be reading those to you. I can't read the whole thing to you. I'm going to end the previous stream about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and I'm going to update that thumbnail. If you missed that stream about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, then you can go watch that if you want. That is a VOD now, and you can watch that discussion. Really, really good talk and back and forth about that game, about remakes, and what people think. So let me give you this really quick intro and update about this new detail, or details. This is a Reforge update. Skull and Bones gameplay new details are here from a Game Informer article. I subscribed to their digital edition so that I could read it and give you the goods. We're going to be looking at Endgame and live service commentary specifically. I will be discussing this with Reforge Gaming at length. That's my streaming channel. So head over there if you want to see a more lengthy discussion, because I will not be including their commentary about avoiding Sea of Thieves tropes. I'm reserving that for the live audience. So if you like these quick updates, though, hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss these updates. So how is live service going to work, and how's the end game going to work? I'm going to start with their commentary about live service because I think that is a huge window and insight into their very minor commentary about Endgame, because I think they're saying very similar things. So looking beyond that new horizon, they said this: Ubisoft Singapore has content planned to engage players, quote, for years to come, according to the person being interviewed. I asked him if there is more of a Fortnite-style live service game with a battle pass driving everything, or is it going to be more like Destiny with game-as-service model that's scheduled with steady flow of content so players can be in the game and they power up continually. He says it's a bit of both, and you can rank up your infamy, which means you gain new tiers of ships, weapons, armor types, and more. But unlike Destiny, where a gun you unlocked hours ago might be irrelevant simply because it can't compete with the weaponry you're looking for now or you're obtaining in a new season, he says, what you unlock, craft, and build in Skull and Bones will hopefully stay relevant throughout your journey. Skull and Bones progression isn't about building the biggest ship and using that ship exclusively. Right? There's going to be smaller ships that you use to hunt sharks, for an example. You're only going to use that ship to hunt sharks. You're not going to use your big going to use your big brig to do that. That would be counterintuitive. So your work, your leveling, your upgrading, your investment into all your ships of varying sizes, you're going to use them for particular things. There might be a cargo ship that you use for a particular mission. There might be really fast ships that you use for missions where you know you need to get away quickly in the end. So what they said is you'll need to tinker with each ship type to determine a build that works for the given mission. That's right down to the armor type, which includes leather, wood, metal, and more. Weaponry, you can replace that in different parts of the ship, even furniture. Different types of furniture grant you bonuses such as increased ship health or a reduction in the rate at which your sails break. It's easy to see how these systems can also play into other aspects of Skull and Bones, like your crew morale, which can dictate whether or not they mutiny, and you got to keep that up. So what they're attempting to do, it sounds like they're trying to ride that line of live service tension. They don't want to invalidate all your work. Like everything you do in the base game's irrelevant. All that matters is the end game, and everything you worked on is invalidated, weak, and trash, and all this new stuff is what matters. Like with the ongoing format, if they add new things, they don't want to do that. Now, keeping it all relevant, I think will be tough beyond the first launch month. Like, what are you going to add that I'm going to want to go do if you don't sort of weaken or make what I currently have not as good? Like, what's the drive? What's the push? They also talked about Endgame, and they kind of use similar language. Speaking of the Endgame, they were not able to disclose exactly what it is. That's coming at a later time, but it's not akin to something like World of Warcraft, where the true game starts at level 60. That's not a huge power spike in regard to the game like you finally get to the end, and then everything you got up to that point's not relevant anymore. They want it to remain relevant, which is very similar to their commentary about live service. While they wouldn't disclose exactly what the end game is, they did drop some hints. They said, again, it's all about risk and reward. So it's put into the player's hands of how much do they want to basically modify how much they're going to risk, but also increasing the reward. That's all I can really say. So to me, it sounds like both their endgame philosophy and their live service philosophy are in sync. They want it to be a continuance of what you worked on in the main game and an extension of it, not an invalidation of it. They want to maintain how the game feels when you're leveling and taking risk and getting reward. They want it to be maintained in the endgame as well as the ongoing live service aspects. I am still concerned about huge aspects of the game being missing, and we're going to talk about that over on Reforge Gaming. As always, if you like this quick update, hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss these uploads, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'll see the rest of you right now. I got plenty of things to talk about for this, and I'm going to kick things off with something I kept just for you, okay? I kept this just for you. I didn't want to put it in the update, right? I didn't want to put it in the update, so I waited. Manny, I don't know what you tried to say to me, but I'm not seeing it in Discord. I didn't want to put this in the update. I want to say this for you guys, for the live audience, because I think this could be good discussion. This could be a good springboard. So that's everything. If you guys have comments or thoughts about how they are attempting to do live service and endgame seemingly different than other games, because they want those things to remain relevant for you, feel free to comment in the chat. If this is a game that you're going to be interested in or enjoy, if you're worried or concerned about what they had to say about how they're going to treat live service and endgame, let me know. So I'm going to pull again from this Game Informer article, okay? Okay, first and foremost, I want to know what you guys think of this quote. I'm going to get to the goods, because they do talk about avoiding Sea of Thieves tropes. They mention Sea of Thieves specifically. I'm gonna use that one in a minute. I'm gonna use it in a minute. But I want to know what you think of this quote specifically. Let's start off a little light. We're all aware of the other pirate game out there, and it's really fun and great. But they have attacked, right? That's very Johnny Depp pirate with a parrot on your shoulder, and we're very different. We want to offer a different pirate experience, so all those combined is why the game has come to the point that it's at and why it's so different from what it was in Assassin's Creed, okay? So they are mentioning Sea of Thieves here, okay? They're referencing Sea of Thieves. Hopefully players, when they play it, they may have a little bit of, oh, I thought this was going to be Black Flag. But what the game is offering, with the progression system, with the depth of combat, with the multiplayer and playing with others, hopefully that's going to override some of those things that then what maybe they had impressions of what the game would be. So, essentially what this quote is saying, and I want you guys to respond and react, they expect people to come into this game and be like, oh, I thought this was going to be Black Flag. And they're saying, it ain't. It's not going to be Black Flag. And they're saying that one of the reasons it's not going to be like Black Flag is that they really didn't want it to fall into the Sea of Thieves thing where you have like Johnny Depp, a pirate, and a parrot on your shoulder. They're sort of like, oh, we're leaving behind the caricatures of pirates. We want to have like a more gritty, historically accurate pirate game. To me, this commentary is worrying. Why? Because I feel like they're primarily making this game for fans of Black Flag, and they're saying, well, that's not what you're going to get. Because for me, I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I spent a bunch of time in the boat, and it made sense to me when they were making this game. I was like, oh, that was one of the things that really made that game enjoyable, and I know a lot of people did the same thing as me. They stayed in the boat. That was what they did. That was what they enjoyed. And they're saying, no. Hopefully players, when they play it, they may have a little bit of like, oh, I thought this was going to be Black Flag, but what the game is offering with the progression system, depth of combat, multiplayer, hopefully that's going to override some of those things and what they had impressions of what the game would be. They don't want you approaching this game looking for Black Flag. It sounds like they are very self-aware of what people are assuming and expecting. I respect them for that, but does anyone give a crap about this game still, says Sven. That's lame. That was a mistake. So you guys think this is a mistake. Micah says, in my opinion, Sea of Thieves is the cartoony pirate fantasy. Skull and Bones is the more realistic game, at least from what I've seen. At an aesthetic level, sure. Sinnett says no longer interested. From what we've seen so far, it really looks like Black Flag. How many in-game gems for a Black Pearl? That's all that's going through my mind. Bird of the Abyss says, it's extremely disappointing that they lock the camera to first person. Among the community that has been very interested in the release, a prominent person in Discord left the server because of this. Yeah, because if you think about it, Black Flag was the game that inspired this and is likely creating an audience for it, and that game's third person, not first person, right? That's, I think, a huge deal. Resubmission our system. You think would be a great fit for it? I feel like I also let me know any questions you need to get signed up to get started. Great. Great. Would I receive a product to demo and show off as well? Okay. Cool. Cool. The caricatures of pirates are what make them interesting. No one cares about realistic pirates. That's why we always see the caricatures of them instead, says Distorted. So it's like Criminal Scourge of the Seas pirate. Pretty much, right? Sven says, they don't want it to be a Black Flag expansion, but they want the game to stand on its own. I can't fault them for trying to do that. I can't fault them for trying to do that either, but it's also like, why? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just take the Black Flag format and just make a really dope pirate game? I want to have a gun and a sword and, like, fight people. And sure, ship combat can be a heavier load of content and centrality to the game, but, like, it's so weird. On the surface, I think they'll get pushback, but if they execute it well, the complaints from Black Flag fans will fall by the wayside. Also, better to get out there now. I agree. I love Black Flag. It was one of my favorites, says Valiant. Eugene says, so like a criminal thing. Oh, that's what, yeah. That's what Quiet Shy was thinking too. It's the old bait and switch sell tactic. Hint that it was elements of Black Flag to get fans excited to buy the game, only to have a product that nobody wants. Yeah, we'll potentially have a new sponsor soon. Eugene disagrees. He says the caricature pirates have been done. I don't disagree with that. I think you could avoid the caricatures, but still give me Black Flag. You could give me the spiritual successor to Black Flag, and it would still be a unique game, and it doesn't have to be in pirate caricatures. I don't need a parrot on my shoulder. Did you ever watch the 2018 video again? It looked better in my opinion, says Paul, and it was third person on the ship, and the water was better also. Yeah, that's what that vertical slice does, baby. Ubisoft is known for this. The vertical slice of Skull and Bones looked way better than what we're seeing now. Surprise, surprise. I'm not shocked at all that the water looked better. And they probably got rid of third person because it probably helped it run better. Third person zooms it out more, FOV's bigger, there's more in frame, more to render. Yeah, I guarantee you all that got trimmed down because that vertical slice was not a good representation of what they could do and what they were going to do. For sure. That's Ubi in a nutshell. You know? A lot of pirates were privateers working for X or Y empire, but were labeled as pirates and executed as when they weren't needed anymore. Right. Yeah, you could go that route as well. I think it's good expectations management, says Valiant. I agree with that. You don't want a bunch of Black Flag fans booting it up on day one and taking a dump on it from a great height just because it's not Black Flag. I think it's going to happen anyway. I don't think this article is going to be a blip on the radar, Valiant. I don't think my video, I don't think any YouTuber is going to stop that from happening personally. I think the lion's share of the people, hey guys, it's a new stream, so do me a favor, make sure you're in live chat so you can see what everybody's saying, and take a second to press like. That really helps us out. There's a ton of you here already. Let's push this thing. Let's have a really good stream. We already had a great stream about Star Wars. Let's have another good one, and I haven't even given you all the goods yet. I got more about Sea of Thieves, but I'm holding it. Right now we're discussing Skull and Bones gameplay, and Is it just automatically going to get rejected because it's not like Black Flag? The developers seem to be anticipating that, but I don't think that matters. I think people are going to do it anyway. Didn't somebody say in the planning of this to be like, they're just going to expect Black Flag. We've got to do everything we can to meet them on that. The less we are like that game, the more likely we're going to get immediately dismissed by so many people. Eugene says, now I'm more interested to look into it. The fact that it was going to be an Assassin's Creed spinoff immediately turned me off. But Eugene, it almost feels like just a mini game from Black Flag. I don't actually think it's going to be that good, sadly. Why is the pearl gone? Why is the rum gone? I mean, did you see people crying about Returnal because you lose progress when the game is a rogue? Of course it'll happen anyway. I think that was so unique and so unfortunate. If Returnal would not have launched in a new-gen, next-gen gaming drought, I don't think that would have happened as much. I think Returnal's going to be a smash hit on PC because PC players love rogues a whole lot more than console players. Well, maybe not a whole lot more, but I think rogues are more popular in that environment. You never played Black Flag? Oh, you're missing out. Oh, you never liked AC? Well, then I guess you're not missing out. Realistic pirates are basically just murderers and thieves on the water minus the entertainment value, says Distorted. Nobody is looking for that. That's why everybody loves Jack Sparrow. Right. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes it just needs to make a better wheel. This is literally related to the discussion earlier, right? It's a trap. It's a trap. If you don't innovate enough, everyone says this is the same exact game. If you innovate too much, then everyone's like, wow, why? You know? If you innovate too much, people are like, I just wanted another Black Flag. If you don't innovate at all, everybody's like, oh, it's just the same game. So landing in the middle is so incredibly hard. Rogues are often made by indie devs, which are way more common on PC. Yeah, agreed. Black Flag was still under the old style of AC games. Returnal is a masterpiece. Agreed. Just imagine an MMO Black Flag. You might get your wish when Assassin's Creed Infinity comes out. Black Flag gets rid of a lot of the Assassin's Creed stuff. It's not totally gone, but the heavy focus on just being a pirate. So if you don't like Assassin's Creed stuff, you still might like Black Flag. That's definitely one that could use a remaster because, you know, make it perform better and look better. That's what everybody's going to want. Write this down. Skull and Bones is going to come out. It's going to come out, and in the wake of Skull and Bones coming out, there's going to be a surge of people requesting an Assassin's Creed Black Flag remaster. Right? Who's complaining about innovation too much? Oh, it happens all the time. Anytime a sequel or a game comes out and it's a giant departure from the previous game, people complain. Call of Duty, when they did double jumping and wall running, 100%. People were like, this is too much innovation. This isn't the same game. The more innovation, the better. I don't agree with that axiom. I think that axiom leads to identity loss, and you lose loyalists, and then you lose your soul. I think that happens in games sometimes. People believe that, well, the more innovation we throw at this, the better it'll be. Not necessarily. No. Nope. I don't think there's enough Skull and Bones gameplay to keep my interest. Black Flag gave me more activities beyond the ship combat, which is why I love Black Flag. Suede says, I can appreciate being open with their vision and trying to get in front of this. Unfortunately, the internet is going to internet, and it won't matter. I've moved on, and it's not what I hoped for. Innovate or die? Yeah. Skull and Bones literally needs to be a better Black Flag, or I don't see it succeeding. The odds are stacked significantly against them. I definitely would take AC Black Flag remaster. Right. Like, I can't think of a good example. I can't think of a good example. It would have been like, let's just say in Jedi Fallen Order there was ship combat. Let's make a parallel to the thing we talked about earlier. Let's say there was spaceship combat in Jedi Fallen Order, and a lot of people liked it so much that they spent a ton of their time there. Okay? If instead of getting Jedi Fallen Order 2, we got Star Wars Jedi Squadron or something, and it was just that portion of the game, I think you would understandably get it when people were like, why did you do this? Everybody's going to look at this and think about what it could have been as a fully fleshed out sequel, and you gave us like a mini game that's pretending to be a full game. How many potential Sea of Thieves users immediately turned off by style? Maybe. Maybe in the minority here doesn't mean I'm in the minority of the masses. Yeah, that's true. There could be people that are really looking forward to this. We could be totally wrong here. We do have to remember, this is something we've been talking about, we do have to remember that the people on YouTube and Reddit and forums and Twitter were the minority in the gaming world. We got to remember that. People complain if it's far from what is known. People also complain if it doesn't innovate enough. It's a huge limbo. Right. Quiet Shy says, it would be cool if we came across other players' ship. We have the option to trade goods instead of always fighting. I would love a Black Flag remaster or remake. Remaster is plenty. Just make it look and run better. But can you imagine the new style of AC combat in the Black Flag setting? Oh, it'd be fantastic. I think what we talked about with remakes a little bit ago and why this is such a great time for remakes, I think that's why Assassin's Creed Infinity is coming. I think they looked back there and they thought, oh my gosh, these games, these worlds, these characters, these weapons, these environments would be amazing in a modern setting with all of the cool stuff we've been able to do with Valhalla, Origins, and Odyssey. Can you imagine if we did that with all those old Assassin's Creed games? Well, why don't we do it? Why don't we do it? Called Assassin's Creed Infinity. I really think you should show people this who have not played Black Flag. It's better than Skull and Bones. We got to be careful. That guy's got 1 million subscribers. I don't really feel like having this video get dinged, right? Is that an overlay or is that a what? No, see, he's even got his he's got his logo up in the corner. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk getting the video dinged. We're off to a really strong start. If you guys are enjoying the content and you've never been here before, I'm a Safe for Work broadcaster. This is our second talk show of the day. You can start your day with me in the morning. I'm like video game radio. Because I'm safe for work, you can throw me on in the background of your day. Hit subscribe and the bell button if you've never been here before. Smash the like button if you have been enjoying your time here. Yeah, that one will be okay. The Assassin's Creed UK channel. Thank you. That'll be okay. Yeah. Let's just show you why this feels so second rate. Okay? This feels really, really second rate, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you Assassin's Creed Black Flag combat or gameplay. Right? Now this is from 2013, so keep in mind that this is almost 10 years old. Okay? So this is almost 10 years old, and it is let me make sure we got it at 1080. Okay. So this is the naval combat from Black Flag. Okay, so this is not Skull and Bones. This is basically what inspired Skull and Bones. I already want to play this more. I already want to play it more. That quick, and I'm already more interested. Just him walking around, just that. Look at that. Look at that, chat. And if I was able to dig for treasure, because I had a clue that there was treasure by Old Man Rumskin, who drank himself to death with all this rum, I want to play this. I already want to play. I got a treasure map. That's it, please. Yeah. Where? Oh, it's over there, maybe. Who knows where? Look, there's the map. Then we just go out and we'll go searching. This is exactly why it doesn't make any sense to me. Look at that. This is 10 years old almost. Just give me this remastered so I can have it run at 30 FPS. Look at him climbing the side of the boat organically. Look at that. Jiminy freaking Christmas. This is what I want. This right here. It's all I need. It's time to sing. It's time to sing a shanty. This is a cutscene. This is not what happens when you do what he just did. They're just doing a bit of a breather here. Come on. Zoom out. Look at the. Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah. See all this. Just ignore all this. This is just because they put together a trailer. They're just showing you that there's weather. Okay. So they're skipping ahead. Bro, this is what people want. This is a pirate game. This isn't Sea of Thieves. This is a pirate game, bro. Doesn't mean that's what the market wants. Thank you for almost an entire year of membership, Nova Hands, hitting an 11-month milestone. Thank you. Doesn't mean what the market wants. So you think the market wants just the ship combat more than this? Man, do I doubt that. Holy moly, look at what he's getting to do. Holy frick, do I doubt that. How could... Now, that was a little too easy, so I think you'd want to modernize the puzzles a little bit, right? Looks like an AC game to me. Because he's dressed like a guy from the Assassin's Creed games. If he wasn't dressed like this, you wouldn't think that. You would be like, oh, it looks like a pirate action adventure game. If that hood was a pirate hat, you wouldn't think that. No way. This does not look like an Assassin's Creed game. Up to this point, no. No, there was no Assassin's Creed game that looks like this, with the jungles and the lush environments and the water. Now this, yes, this is Assassin's Creed, 100%. I won't argue that. This is Assassin's Creed through and through, the classic go up and see everything. This reminds me more of third-person Far Cry than Assassin's Creed. This right here does not look like Assassin's Creed. This looks like a pirate game. Skull and Bones is literally coming out because it has to. Yeah, I don't think Skull and Bones is coming out because of market research. I think somebody said, yeah. So here we're gonna get a look at the naval combat. Now, obviously, you're gonna start to see some of the datedness of the game with some of the pieces falling off of the boat. It seemed a little, it's a little dated. Just big giant wood pieces were coming and flying off for sure. But I think this immediately looks better than everything we have seen for Skull and Bones. The player behavior in AC Black Flag told them differently, didn't it? Well, yes and no, Creature. Yes and no. I think we have to look at player behavior in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and you have to look at it in context. You have to look at it in context. It was new, so it was more appealing. It was like, I can wander around and assassinate people and do like little missions and search for checkboxes, or I can go get on my ship and fight and sing songs. That was the newest part. So of course more people spent time there. Like that, you have to look at it in context. You always have to say, why did the players do this? Is it because that's just what they want? They just want a game where you're in the boat? Or did they do it because it was the newest thing that had been done? It would be like saying, well, in Assassin's Creed Origins, we had this horse riding thing. We had horse riding hunting, and I'm making this up, by the way. Horse riding, hunting, and racing, and all this horse riding stuff. And we found that traversal reports, people were on their horse way more than they were on the ground. They seemed to prefer that. Let's make a horse game. But what? No. People would gravitate toward it because it's new, not because that's all they want. I don't think that's a great conclusion. I can 100% see why they thought that. Well, I mean, look at the player reports. Look at the achievements. Look at the player engagement. That's all people did. That's what they did. They constantly just played in the ship. Sure. Tracking down the shanties for the crew to sing was fun. Yeah, I remember doing that too. I do. Valiant says, Assassin's Creed games have an audience. Maybe that audience wasn't large enough for what they were shooting for with Skull and Bones. Maybe they need a larger audience for their vision. Wheezy says, Skull and Bones literally happened because people went, the best part of Black Flag is being a pirate. Can you make a game about that? The game is literally, and I mean quite literally, a result of the feedback they got about Black Flag. Right. But it's my contention that it's 2/3 of a pirate game. It's going to limp. No pun intended, but it's going to limp. As soon as he's walking around the ship freely and I can see him, I'm immediately more interested. That feels like a pirate to me. First-person perspective ship combat doesn't feel like a pirate to me. Skull and Bones looks awful. Yeah, I think their intentions were good. I think their execution is looking bad, in my opinion. If you guys are enjoying the stream, do me a favor, man. Smash that like button. We're having a pretty good start. Do me a favor and smash that like button. Let's aim for 200. Bare Bones Pirate Game. Listen, we're 30 minutes in, so I got another quote for you guys. It's about Black Flag. This is from the Game Informer article. You ready for this? Here you go. I think that's one of the big shifts when we talked about Black Flag and the different games, is that this is absolutely not an Assassin's Creed or a Far Cry. There is definitely narrative in the game, though. There's actually a deep kind of lore narrative that players will investigate and discover, but there are also VIPs or Kingpin pirates that they'll meet, and each of those pirates has a storyline or an arc that the players can engage with doing these jobs, which we call contracts. They'll get their background and go through a little story, but it's not a narrative game in that, there's an ending and there's credits. It's much more about the players creating their own stories. There is narrative in the game, for sure, but it's not a narrative-driven experience. Now, I want you to consider with me everything we just talked about. Why in the frick didn't they do what we just watched in a minute of Black Flag footage? If I'm making my own story and I'm discovering lore and I'm discovering stories and backstories and histories of the lore and the world and the pirates, why can I not walk around and be a pirate? Why'd you make the game super on rails and then the centrality of the game is you're a ship? You're a ship. You're not a pirate. You're a boat. What kind of boat do you want to be today? It's almost like classes, right? There's little boats, big boats, medium-sized boats, cargo boats, whatever. It's like Ubisoft got all the feedback and went, okay, we'll give you 1/4 of the things that you loved. Are you happy? It's pretty hard to add that post-game. You really have to overhaul the game. It's not just adding third person or first person. It's creating things the game has never been designed for. 100%. I'm not saying they can shove that in. Yeah, it'll be too hard. Yeah. Because boats don't have legs. Tugboat. Remember Black Cat, I think it was called. You were a female pirate, had paranormal enemies and monsters. Skull and Bones should have been like that, and Pirates of the Caribbean and Black Flag mechanics. I don't play games to walk, Lono. I can do that in real life. World of pirate boats. Any tugboats? Thanks, chat. I hated the ship combat in Odyssey. AC Odyssey was decent, but compared to Black Flag, it was meh. Yeah, the ship combat in Odyssey felt very half-baked. It felt just like they kind of threw it in. The game looks like trash. You can only stay on a ship. Well, you can get off the ship and walk around, but it's like a cutscene. Well, I'm sorry, it's not a cutscene. You're on the ship doing combat, you land and want to get off. You don't do it on your own the way he did in the footage we just watched. You just like all of a sudden, blink, you're in the town walking around. So there is no free-form be a pirate. It's go do stuff as a ship and then come back to a village, walk around and grab, contracts and lore. Say what you will, someone out there will finally say, I can be a boat. I mean, some of my questions that I had saved for you guys, all right? Do you think later that they will add non-ship gameplay? Chat, do you think that? And I'm going to do a poll of just people interested, right? Skull and Bones game play. Are you interested? Very basic question. Are you interested? Yes? No. Skull and Bones gameplay, are you interested? That's the poll. Very basic poll. But while you're answering the poll, I want you to answer in chat. Do you think that they will add non-ship gameplay? Like sword fighting, searching for treasure, that kind of stuff. Is that going to be in the game later? Hey, somebody ordered some Reforge roast. My man, Predator grabbing 3 dark roasts. Thank you so much. Second coffee order of the day. My man, thank you. Do we even know the format of Skull and Bones? Is it an MMO? If it is, then I think that makes sense. Get the framework in place, add and build on it. No, if we watch this video here, the overview trailer from 22 days ago, if you watch this trailer, Valiant, they very much give you a rundown of the content loop. It's a live service game. It's not an MMO. Yeah. It's a live service game. It's not an MMO. Didn't they address that in the interview? Did you read it? I don't remember them saying anything about adding that kind of content later, D-Tom. Are you asking because you're curious, or did you read it and you're like, I think they answered that in the interview? So here is you engaging with like NPCs in villages and towns and like buying stuff and getting stuff. So they 100% have like pirate treasure to be found. But again, it's first person perspective. You know what's funny? Tons of people have asked if Sea of Thieves could get a third person update where you could just play it third person, and I think that'd be amazing. I would love it if Sea of Thieves was third person. Swade says doubtful. Maybe as a reaction to negative feedback, I suppose there's a slim chance it could pull a No Man's Sky. Excalium says, I doubt it. It seems too connected to the game engine to randomly introduce. It's possible, but if that was the plan, then they would probably have presented it at launch. So the question I'm posing chat right now is, do you think they'll add non-ship combat or gameplay in the future? Like the shoot from the hip going by the fiery island, let me walk around that island. Right, like you're going out and seeing all these beautiful locations and you can't go and do anything on them. Like I can't go walk around the island. It's also launching the day before. God of War. What's the content loop? Okay, I'll break down the content loop. So Skull and Bones gameplay. This is a content loop, okay? You basically get contracts, and you go and do those contracts. And there are different types. There's contracts where you're going to like hunt animals, move cargo, steal stuff, and have to get away quickly. That contract is going to dictate which boat you want to take, and upgrading your boat will make certain contracts easier because you've invested in certain things, right? Better defenses, better attack, better speed, better cargo space, whatever, okay? So you're going to go and do all those different contracts. It's going to raise your infamy, which is your rank, which enables you to buy more things and do more things. And you risk that infamy and you risk that rank when you're out sailing around. There is a risk-reward element in this game because you can get attacked by players when you're out, and you do lose a portion of your cargo, and you do lose a little bit of infamy when you're doing that. Depending on the contract, depending on what you're doing, and depending on how much you're wanting to and willing to risk, okay? So that's basically the content loop. They're showing some of it here. Like anytime you're going to go out, you want to make sure you have cannonballs, food, and water, because while you're out doing this, there are survival elements. Your crew will have a morale meter, and if the morale meter gets too low, they will mutiny. So they need water, they need food, they need to be happy, they need to be having a good time. And that is another aspect of the game. So there are PvE servers. If you do want to completely avoid PvP, they have indicated that there will be PvE servers. Now that doesn't mean that you can't be attacked while you're out and about, because there are ships and pirates about that will try to mess with you while you're out and doing stuff, but it won't be a live player, okay? So here, this is after you've mutinied, you're kind of having to rebuild. This is after you've lost some cargo, you can go back and try and get it, but they did say that other people could grab it. I don't exactly know how you would go back and grab it, because if somebody destroys you and you have to respawn, the odds of them not grabbing your cargo right away seems incredibly, weird. So here you can see his infamy is going up, and as it goes up, he gets upgrades and unlocks. So once he gets to Rover 2, he gets Repair Bombard and Terracotta Armor, okay? And so as he's leveling up his infamy, right, he gets up into Freebooter, upgrades and unlocks. He gets, a blunt carronade. He gets a blunt long gun. He gets a kit station. So you're basically unlocking all of these things. Now, I'll be honest, the way they've set this up looks really good, but it also kind of reminds me of a mobile game a little bit. very, very narrow, very narrow gameplay offering, and then it's just drenched with micro progression. You're making all these little teeny micro advancements to your character. A $2 tip through Super Chat. Did they ever actually confirm PvE servers? I swear that was in an interview recently. They said that somebody covered the game recently and said that. Yes, this is a full price game. Yeah, they did confirm that in an interview recently. So this is ultimately what you're working on. Raising your infamy, getting more captain tools, and growing your fleet. You can play with other people. They did say in the interview with Game Informer that I've been quoting this morning, they did say that they really envision this game at its heart being a co-op game. That you play with other people. Right? So wait, hang on. Okay, so here you go. Tools of the trade contract. Craft captain tools at the carpenter. So you gain 55 or you lose nothing. So I'm assuming when you're going to grab contracts like this, some of the contracts are going to have greater risk and reward. You're going to gain infamy, but if you fail, you're going to lose a certain number of infamy. Now, this is just crafting tools, so you can't really fail to do this, right? So that gain-loss meter is probably going to be different depending on the contract to create that risk-reward. They did say that the end game, you're going to be able to tweak the experience to increase risk and reward to your liking. Now, obviously, the combat looks more graphically intense than what we saw in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This is actual in-game Skull and Bones gameplay, what it looks like. So this is what it looks like when you're out sailing other ships and shooting them and stuff. I still think the water looked better in Black Flag, mainly because it maintained more of a translucent feel. This is what harvesting looks like. Again, you're a boat. You're a boat. You're doing this from the boat. You're not getting out and doing anything. You want to hunt a hippo or a gator? Guess what? You're doing it from the boat. You're a boat with arms, basically. This is, again, one of the reasons why I don't think this type of gameplay will make people feel like they're a pirate. Harvesting so weak? Yeah, look, you're a boat. You're shaking the tree as a boat and fruit's falling down. You're a boat. It's a boat game. It's not a pirate game. That's the issue that I have with this. It's like, I watched 60 seconds of Black Flag and I was like, I want to play that. This, you're a boat. There's all your cargo. So this stuff on the side is stuff that you can increase. So if you're wanting to do cargo missions and you've invested a lot in your ship, this is what your ship's going to look like when you're hauling cargo. Now, some missions, if you do this, there's going to be a lot of risk because you're going to be slow. So they did say that. They said individual ships and customization is a pretty big deal. They're wanting you to feel that pressure of like, I need a particular boat style. I need a particular stat to do this mission well. Like here they're showing you all the different weapons you can get, armor, upgrades, and things if you're really wanting to invest in the combat. Because there are going to be missions that are going to be combat focused, so you're obviously not going to want to take like your small hunting boat to go engage in combat. So there's going to be specific things you're going to look for that are geared towards the combat. Let's be fair. Yesterday we were talking about a cat game being nominated for Game of the Year. Maybe this is the next step. Boat game has a chance. I know you're being kind of funny, but I just don't think so. I don't think a boat has personality. I don't think you can connect with and feel that camaraderie and connection with your boat. I do think there are going to be people that love this. There are people right now that will play a sim game and they're constantly working on a very particular thing. A train set, a village, a town, a gas station, a truck, right? So I think that's the thing about this, though, is it's going to fall in like some weird valley. It looks like an action-adventure live service game, but it's more of like a pirate boat sim game. If you see what I posted in Discord, that's my problem with Skull and Bones. The biggest thing against the game is it's pretty much universally panned, looks mediocre, and it isn't free to play. That's a scary combination. People already think it looks not worth it, and it's not free to play. That's a hard sell in 2022 when you have failures like Battlefield 2042. Not being free to play, I think, is very deadly. You have to be selling something very good to catch the large audience. Chat, let's take what Wheezy's doing and let's turn this into the question of the hour. Right now, if you're new and you haven't been here yet today, do a couple things for me. Smash the like button, subscribe so you can talk in my chat, and then vote in our poll. Skull and Bones gameplay. Skull and Bones gameplay. Are you interested? Let's see 200 votes on the poll, and let's see 200 likes. Let's hit those 2 milestones for all the people that are just now tuning in. But let's take Wheezy's point and let's turn it into a question. Do you think Skull and Bones should be free to play? That's the question. Do you think it should be free to play? Because when I look at it, I think a free-to-play battle pass cosmetic microtransactions ecosystem would have been much better for this game. I think charging full price for this game is almost a death sentence. It's just a death sentence because, like, I could see people be like, "Oh, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see," right? No. That's not going to happen if they got to spend full price. That's not going to happen if they have to spend full price. That in my mind, they are 100% going to fall behind. Gameplay interview. Like, they're not going to be able to sustain a player base. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain a player base because if the player base is like, I got to spend full price to try out a pirate ship game, I don't know. Yo, we're getting fat rated. Thank you, Fat Steven Seagal. Guys, you can click on his name and check out his content if you want. He's been raiding us pretty regularly. I'll get to play the trial on PS Plus, check it out, and then decide. Yeah, the fact that you've expressed some measure of interest, Eugene, and that's how you're going to check it out, I think adds to the discussion. People are saying yes, free to play. Like I said earlier, it's pretty much War of Warships with pirate ships, so to the point, it should be free to play. Full price for a game where you can't even leave the ship's DOA. You can leave the ship, but not really. You can leave the ship. 100% free to play, or put this on PS Plus Extra or Game Pass, or it's DOA. I don't see a future live service game working well outside of free to play. Right, Russell? Like, is that a necessity? Yeah, they launched. I saw that this morning. I didn't feel like typing up a description thumbnail and getting everything ready to go. I saw that this morning in time to try it out, Eugene, and I just said no. I said no. I can't stand the way they surprise people. No build-up. No release date, no trailer, just, hey, it's live today. I can't stand the way Hello Games does that. It's so frustrating as a YouTuber. And they're doing drops on purple anyway, so frick them. I spent most of my time on the ship in Black Flag. Gonna check it out. Hate me if you want. I don't hate you. No. I don't hate you. If you want this game, that's awesome for you. I'm sitting here saying, man, oh man, it feels like this game fell short. Man, oh man, it feels like this game's short. It's like just the ship stuff. Where's the rest of the game? Full price and launch the day before Ragnarok. I don't know how that's going to play out. Right, Valiant? A full price game where you are a pirate ship, basically. You can be a couple different pirate ships, sure. And there's a lot to do, okay? There's a lot to do and there's a lot to invest in. A full price game. Full price live service game, day before Ragnarok. Now, I know not everybody's on PlayStation. But I feel like this thing's going to have to get delayed. And they're going to have to reconsider pricing structure. Do a battle pass. Do a cosmetic store. Make it free to play. Or this game's in big, big trouble. Big trouble. What's good, Hex? Ain't nobody hating you if you like this game. I'm not going to hate on somebody for liking a game. Well, it doesn't make any difference to me. Yo, what's good, Lewis? First DLC, Island Raids. I said that the first update they're going to do is the Land Ho update. They're going to let you go on islands and explore and fight. That's going to be the first update. Their first big update to save the game. The Land Ho update is what I called it. Even if it's free to play, I still haven't seen enough to check it out. Very weak content loop, says Suede. Lono, if it was $30, I would maybe buy it. Free to play means to me heavy microtransactions, which would kind of blow So no thank you. You're not going to be able to swing from your ship to another ship and have full-on combat. That's lame. No, when you invade another ship, it's a cutscene. Landing on islands, innovative? Yeah, maybe they're struggling with ladders the same way Bethesda did, right? They just can't figure out ladders. So, you got to stay on the boat. I mean, the game could be very fun, but I will probably skip on it since it's only ship stuff. I've got other games to play until next year when Forza and Starfield drop. There's going to be microtransactions regardless. I thought they said there weren't going to be any. What if your boat can transform like a robot? Just turn it into a Transformers game and call it a day. Skull and Bones could definitely go the way of Sea of Thieves, which isn't free to play. I still don't think we've got good numbers on Sea of Thieves player base. I still don't think we do. We need 40 more likes on the video. If you're enjoying the content, man, smash that like button. We've got 200 votes on the poll. Thank you guys so much for voting on the poll. Skull and Bones gameplay. Are you interested? The new details that we've combed through. I've got something for you. In about 10 minutes, I'm going to give you a new quote because this one here talks about Sea of Thieves and something that they wanted to avoid. And I'm going to give it to you in just a minute here. Distorted says... no melee combat. How long ago did you say that? I can't find it. I'll have to click and open the image. No melee combat also makes no sense. One pirate would never have only fought with cannons and guns, as well as it being completely unlikely that every single pirate would even own a gun. Yeah. It just feels like half of a game. It's cool. I'm willing to say that. I think Skull and Bones gameplay is cool. I see the ships. I see the upgrades, right? I see all these weapons that you can get. I see like a flamethrower. Like, a flamethrower, really? I see all of the shooting and all this. And I'm like, this actually looks cool. Like, that looks cool. Being able to put that on the side of my boat. That's dope. That right there. Look at all that armor. That's cool. But... why is that where it ends? Like I said, that feels like the skeleton of a mobile game. You have a boat and you accept contracts, you go do stuff on the boat, and then you just make the boat look cooler and stronger and better. During the day, I'm just a regular hardworking American, but when I get home, I'm a boat. That's right. The ship turns into a giant pirate robot. Yeah. It's an unfinished game that Ubisoft is trying to act like they did on purpose to release on time. Smack dab on the Xbox pre-order, plus offers in-app purchases. If you're going to do microtransactions regardless, just make it mobile and free to play. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't think microtransactions in any game necessitates being free to play or turning it into a mobile game. I don't agree with that. You're right, it looks dope, but after 10 hours, am I going to come back? I doubt it. Everything that comes out about Skull and Bones makes me feel like this is not the game for me. Plus, it's Ubi, which already puts me on the edge for over-monetization. I'm going to pass unless post-release reviews convince you otherwise. Like, yeah, they're good. So, yeah, here you can get out of the boat, okay? So this right here adds to my frustration. Look how cool you can make your guy look. You can really, really make your dude... And that's it. That's it. You can get out of the boat and you can walk around town and make yourself look awesome and then never see yourself on the boat because it's always first person. You see yourself when you're doing this. You're literally walking in. Okay, I'm gonna buy some stuff. I'm gonna look tight. I'm gonna really get my fit, looking fit, and then that's it. That's the end. That's it. That's what you do. Like, you go, accept contracts, interact with an NPC, and then it's first person rest of the time. I reject the argument of half a game. Games like War Thunder, War of Tanks, Dreadnought exist. You never leave the ship. The idea of investing in your vehicle and battling it out. Right, but are those games full-price games, Robert? Is War Thunder, World of Tanks, and Dreadnought, are those full-price games? Or are they like $30, free to play. Like, where are they in the pricing structure? This is a full price game. Other players get to enjoy how you look when you customize your pirate. Free? Those games are free. Free as free can get and pay to win. So those games are pay to win. Yeah, I guess that would be the big concern, is this is so combat focused. If they went free to play with micros, it would be, yeah, Dreadnought's free to play. Yeah. That's the point. This doesn't, maybe we should be saying it another way. Maybe we should be saying it another way. It doesn't look like a full price game. Right? Yeah, War Thunder's free to play. Thank you, Wheezy. It's not that it looks like half of a game. It doesn't look like a full price game. That's what I'm saying. It does not look... Hey, we got some new subs for the stream, man. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you guys so much for being here and hitting that sub button. Do me a favor and also press the like button and take our poll at the top of the chat. We are discussing Skull and Bones gameplay, the new details. We're pulling stuff out of a Game Informer article. In about 4 minutes, I've got a juicy quote for you, and it's them talking about Sea of Thieves, a trope and an issue in Sea of Thieves that they are actively trying to avoid. I'm going to read that quote to you in a few minutes. This is going full price? Yes. I think the point is that we expected Skull and Bones to basically be the game that Black Flag was, but without the AC stuff, and double down on the pirate stuff. So that's where my disappointment comes from. Yeah, they turned the wheel so sharp, Sean. It's like, we don't want to be Black Flag 2. That's fine. And they're like, what we want to be is, and they just spin the wheel. And they're like, and they spin the car. We want to be a game where you're a boat. Like that's it. Right? We're under the highway? What? Oh. I was like, what is happening? Cute. My family's hanging out with another family today. Our friends, our Korean friends. Such a cute family. They're so sweet. Ubi got the siege code for this. Eventually, this will be free to play once they add the land combat. Merge the code, you cowards. Black Flag 2 would have been so much better. Why expect it to be AC knockoff, spin-off? Because it is! What do you mean? What do you mean, why expect it to be an Assassin's Creed knockoff or an Assassin's Creed spin-off? Because it is! Like, that's what it is. They took the ship combat from Black Flag and they made a game. That's it. If you went and you bought Gwent Tournament 5000, people would say, that's a Witcher 3 spin-off. And you would rightfully say, did anybody expect Witcher combat in that? No, because that wasn't an extension of your player. It was a mini game inside of Witcher. Okay? Assassin's Creed Black Flag, an extension of the game play loop, and your character was getting in your boat and engaging in combat. So they come out with this and people are like, oh man, it's gonna be a fully ored pirate game more focused on ship combat. And they're like, yeah, kind of. It's actually just the ship. And you're like, what? But what about all the other stuff that you can do as a pirate? No, none of that. That's going to be too much like Assassin's Creed. Why? You could have made it not like Assassin's Creed. You could have created an entirely new melee-based combat system that would have looked nothing like Assassin's Creed, because fighting with the scimitar or a cutlass would be very, very different than fighting with more of the modern or more of the more common Assassin's Creed weapons. No wrist blade, no secret assassinations, no stealth. Right? And finding treasure could have been completely different, more puzzle-oriented. It definitely doesn't look full-priced. That's what I'm saying, like, if they would have done that, if I could get off my boat and do all those other things, I'd be like, fully priced game, I'm diving in, bro. I want to be a pirate. That's going to be fun. I'm going to avoid the PvP. I'm going to focus on my ship a little bit, but I really want to focus more on, you know, getting a cool sword and getting a cool outfit and finding treasure. And instead, you gave me a game where I'm a boat. They pivoted to the ship-only combat. Yeah, they did that, not me. This is not a $70 game on next-gen consoles. Yeah, they're charging $70 for the standard edition, and then they're charging $100 for the premium edition. Base game, premium bonus pack missions, art book, and... Wait, what? You have to pay for missions? Hang on a minute. That doesn't seem right. Additional content. Yeah. It's literally a launch game that's immediately putting missions behind a paywall. What the frick, man? $100? Like, okay, I get it. $100 for the premium bonus pack, art book, soundtrack. That's fine. That you can charge for that. Missions? Missions? What are you doing? What? That's the launch. That's the launch game. You're launching the game and putting missions behind a paywall? What? Why? It's not DLC. It's not like 3 months later, define missions, please. It literally, in the image, says additional digital content, and it says 2 extra missions. I don't know what they are. More than likely, they're going to be missions to earn some cool stuff, like a cool hat or a gun or something. Like, a fully priced game is putting missions behind a paywall. I want you to think about that. You have to reach level 5 to unlock the extra missions. Yeah, here's a better image. Thanks for that. That's high res. Let me get you a better image that doesn't get fuzzy. That one got kind of fuzzy. This is unbelievable. This is getting worse by the minute. Okay. All right, so here you go. So right above me, right? Okay, so this stuff in the middle is totally fine. A really cool outfit. I dig the outfit. The black and the red is super, super dope. You get decor, trophies, and wheels for your boat. I am 100% okay with this. Okay? There's nothing wrong with this. This is par for the course. This is industry standard. This is an acceptable practice. You made extra cosmetics, and I can buy them. Totally fine. This is why the game should be free to play, and it should have a battle pass and a cosmetic store, but I digress. Additional digital content. You get a Ashen Corsair, so that's a boat, probably a starter boat. Bloody Bones Legacy. I don't know what that is. Maybe... Oh, wait. These are the missions. I'm sorry. They've formatted this strange. 2 extra missions. The Ashen Corsair and the Bloody Bones Legacy. So those missions are something that I guess you don't get. Down here, offer subject to change. You must reach level 5 to experience and unlock the missions. That's your infamy level. Internet connection required. Digital art book and soundtrack will be available upon game release. It's a full price game, bro. It's a full price game. If this was free, I might look the other way on charging money for missions. But it's a $70 game on my PS5, and you want another $30 for cosmetics, digital art book soundtrack, and 2 missions. I think this feels worse because we're struggling to see where the content and the content loop is right now, but it'd be very minor, like if the game has 200 missions and you get 2 extra, then okay. It's the optics, Valiant. It 100% is the optics. You are charging full price for a game and then charging me for missions. Like, do you see what I'm saying? This game doesn't look like a full price game. It looks like a $30 or $40 game. It's a $70 game. And then you want to charge me for missions as well. Like, what? It's the optics here. It's a $100 game with a $70 Diet Edition. Yeah. It just seems absolutely bonkers bizarre. It really, really does. Game trials, baby. Yeah. PlayStation Plus Premium. If you're just tuning in, we are looking at Skull and Bones gameplay new details. I took portions of a Game Informer digital edition that they just released. I paid money to get access to it. So thank you everybody for supporting the stream today. We're glad that we did. This is a great turnout, great results. Take the poll at the top of the chat, okay? Take the poll at the top of the chat. Skull and Bones gameplay. Are you interested? Yes or no? Also, do me a favor. Hit subscribe so you can talk in my chat if you'd like to add to the conversation. And we need 17 more likes for 200 likes. Yo, what's good, Feed? Good to see you in the chat. Maybe there is a Game Pass tie into this. Wasn't there a rumor about Ubi games dropping into Game Pass? That would kind of make sense, but not really. That rumor went away. It was Ubisoft. Ubisoft Plus was rumored to be going and being included in Game Pass, and that rumor got shot down. That's not happening. The other thing that doesn't seem to be happening is Ubisoft Classics doesn't seem to be coming to Xbox either. Dope shirt, thank you. If you guys like my shirt, it's a Justice League all over print. There's even characters on my back. Right? There's characters on my back. So, you want to be a boat some more? Better fork over some more money. That's right. Yo ho ho and a pirate's life for me. Probably won't ever buy it, but still more likely than I was 2 weeks ago. Sounds like you get missions with the base game. You just get more for paying more. Don't get me wrong, this definitely is not a full price game. Valiant says, also new viewers, slow mode is not something that is normal. We just throw it on to deal with some silliness from time to time. Yeah, there's been some bots. Sometimes I wonder if we shouldn't do slow mode because it makes the chat look crazy when a new person comes in. And it's like, if bots show up, they show up. Like, what's the big deal? You know what I'm saying? We've been experimenting with something today, and I want to continue to do the experiment because it also seems like they kind of bump our viewership around the 1 hour mark, and then they tell me to run ads. I got to grab my lunch anyway. So let me tell you that I'm going to read this quote when I get back. One of my least favorite things about Sea of Thieves, an otherwise very good pirate game, is that anybody can sink your ship at any time, potentially laying waste to hours of loot collected. There's really nothing wrong with this in theory. It's a pirate life for me or something like that, right? But what about when a player repeatedly goes after you more maliciously? I'm going to read a quote from the devs about how they're trying to avoid the Sea of Thieves troll trope. I want to know what you think. Is that a concern for you in a game like this, that it goes flat tire PvP grief city? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to read that quote when I get back. I am going to run some ads. Don't go anywhere. We got more Skull and Bones to talk about. This quote, it's juicy. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. 2-minute break. All right. So, okay. Game already looks scarce, but full price and putting more missions behind a more expensive edition is not a good look. And launching right next to Ragnarok, even worse, not a good look. Yay, demos. I feel like a lot of what we are seeing in Anthem level deception. Do you think the devs will ever learn? I don't feel like they're being deceptive. I feel like they're actually being, to their peril, I think they're being honest about the game's shortcomings. Couple more likes for 300 likes, guys. Smash it. They were threatening legal action against Ubi if they tried to scrap the game because of the money they spent on it. Yeah, they're basically being forced to launch this. Keep that in mind. Which might make sense of some of the pricing. 70 and 100 and stuff behind paywalls and everything else. Let me read this quote to you, okay? This is a lengthy section about this topic. And so what we're discussing now is avoiding the Sea of Thieves troll tropes. How do you do that, okay? How do you do that? So they said, we want players to have the tension that the infamy loss and gain mechanic brings because everything in the game means something. Cargo means something. All the resources in the world mean something. When you take on a ship and try to sink it, that means something. It's not just shoot everything that moves because we want people to be thinking about what they're doing, okay? So this guy, as I said a little bit ago, said his least favorite thing in Sea of Thieves is how somebody can just sink you over and over again and it costs them nothing. That's commonly referred to as griefing, which can ruin any game. When Bernard began talking about the ability to take out other player pirates to steal their loot, I immediately asked about griefing and if Skull and Bones has any systems to prevent it. There are two. First is directly respondent to the infamy system. Taking down players of higher infamy will reward you with more infamy than taking down someone who holds the same title as you. And if you target players with a rank significantly lower than yours, you will lose infamy. Say you're a kingpin and you targeted someone just beginning their pirate journey as an outcast. You wouldn't gain any infamy, you'd lose it. In-game matchmaking on the PvP servers, more confirmation there are PvP and PvE servers. In-game matchmaking on the PvP servers aim to prevent many outcasts from being in a world with kingpins to begin with. So they're already going to try to create a trend within the game itself so that this isn't possible. But if it is possible, they're going to basically punish the guy for being a bully. Which to me is good game design. If you're going to smack around people that are way lower level than you, then frick you. You deserve to lose your infamy. Seriously, you're a douche. All right? It says here, we don't want to prevent mismatched fights from happening because it's a PvP space, and we don't want to police it as much as possible, but we don't want to encourage it. So it could absolutely still happen, but they're gaining nothing and they're actually hurting themselves by griefing. The worry would be, do they lose their updates and their upgrades if they grief too much? Like, do they eventually get so downgraded that they'd lose all the things that they've unlocked? Because they could unlock a bunch of stuff, get all this awesome stuff, and have a really strong ship and not give two fricks about losing infamy. Like, I don't care. Robert says, with a $5 tip through Super Chat, Lono has resorted to the free-to-play, pay-to-win model. He's now drip-feeding his talking points. That's right, that's right. We're trying something new today. That's a funny observation, but we are trying something new today to keep the conversation going and to keep the stream lively for more than just like the first 30 to 45 minutes. I feel like it's working pretty well, by the way. I'm enjoying this today. More on this subject, okay? You know, I'm not quite ready for this. And you choose PvE, it's opt-in PvE. So there's no loss of progression, there's no penalty. So there's no way you're ever trapped in a Brad griefing situation by other players. But that's something we'll monitor. If we really find that it becomes a real deterrent to playing in the PvP environment, which is really the core experience for Skull and Bones, as that's what we're balancing and developing everything for, then we can make adjustments. That's a concerning quote right there. They're balancing and they're adjusting everything for, team. Oh, those are awesome, Creature. I can't wait to have all three. Those are awesome. I can't wait till we can launch that. Creature's giving me a little glimpse at some merch. Members, we'll let you see it later. That's a members-only perk. You get to see merch and stuff before it hits the shelves. So if you're just new and you're just tuning in, I am reading a quote about Skull and Bones gameplay new details. They did an interview with Game Informer, and currently I am reading information about how they are going to avoid griefing, because in Sea of Thieves, there's virtually no cost to grief all day. There's no risk. There's nothing that you can possibly lose. They're going to set it up in such a way to not over-monitor it, but they want to discourage it, okay? Now, it says here, so... Oh, yeah, that's a concern. They're adjusting, tweaking, and balancing everything for the PvP environment. That's a little concerning in my mind. Ubisoft Singapore is eyeing 20 players per server for launch, and each will be a dedicated server. You can group up with 2 friends for a total of for a total of 3. So you can group up with 2 friends, so you have a group of 3 in total, or use the built-in matchmaking system to buff your pirate armada with randoms. When you group up, you might get pulled into a new server with your friend or a new ally, and this is one of the only instances of a loading screen in Skull and Bones. You'll see a loading screen when you're sunk, when you first load into the game, and when you head on to land, such as a den. Okay. I want to read that again. All right. This is one of the only instances of a loading screen. One of the only. Oh, when else is there a loading screen? When you sink, when you first load into the game, when you head on to the land. Okay, so there's a lot of loading screens. It's one of the only instances of a loading screen. I mean, there's also loading screens when you load into the game, when you get sunk, and when you go onto the land. But that's it. I think they're overdone the anti-griefing. No one is going to play it, so no trolls, no griefing. Oh, man. Let's take a look at the poll at the top of the chat here. It says here, Skull and Bones gameplay, are you interested? 62% of you have said no. 322 votes. I love that we have a great turnout, and a lot of you aren't interested in the game. Thank you for supporting the stream and me covering a game you're not interested in. Eugene says they're definitely not helping themselves with decisions that are not game related. Yeah. Yeah. A full price $70 game and then charging money for the premium edition that comes with more missions is just silly. Do we need all those loading screens with current gen? Or are they just being lazy? Well, we don't know how long the loading screens are going to be on next gen distorted. Because when you sink, like, what are they going to do? You know what I'm saying? They gotta do something. You sunk, and they got to put you back on land. I'm here for your voice. Doesn't matter the subject. Thank you. I'm interested, but $70 is too much, says Smashville. We're also forgetting they're releasing their game that no one asked for a mere day after. No, day before. It's the day before God of War Ragnarok. Arguably one of the biggest games to come this year. Yeah. Yeah, God of War Ragnarok is launching on November the 9th. Skull and Bones is launching on November the 8th. Skull and Bones release date is November the 8th. Gamer Dad with a $2 tip. It looks like a piece of ship. It does. There's a lot of pieces of ship in this game. That's a good joke. That's a good joke. Who made that choice? It's a day before one of the most anticipated DLCs of the year. So on the one hand, this is going to be a live service game that requires ongoing support. But on the other hand, Ubi seems to just want to get it out the door. Let me read a quote to you from the interview about that. Ready? Ubisoft Singapore has content planned to engage players, quote, for years to come, according to Bernard, the guy they interviewed. And when they asked him, is it going to be like Fortnite live service, or is it with a battle pass, or is it going to be like Destiny, where it's like an ongoing game of service model, he said somewhere in between those two. It's going to be somewhere in between Fortnite and Destiny. Ongoing. They have content planned for years to come. I saw them disintegrate a tree from the shoreline without even moving from the ship. I'm like, why? How is this fun? That's what I said. I said it looks like a mobile game. You know what I mean? It's like a mobile game. It's like you're literally just going around as a boat and doing cool things with your boat and then leveling up your boat. You know what I mean? I don't get it. I love dad puns. I do too. I do too. Being on a pirate ship and shooting into land, but your bullets need first to go through the loading screen. Does that mean they're planning to add in-person combat in the future? I asked the chat that question. Do you think they're going to add non-ship gameplay in the future? I just looked at the stuff of Ubi's game under development. Things are not looking good. If they already are canceling and delaying stuff, Skull and Bones made the cut. That's worrying. I think because they are literally financially being forced to. They are literally being forced to launch this game. Was that ship gameplay or ship gameplay? It sounds like I'm swearing. It has to release or it has to release soon. Both. Yeah, there's a literal time frame where they have to release it. It's both, Abe. They showed on the first gameplay treasure hunting what happened. Wait, today? Are you talking about today? Because I showed footage from Black Flag. Like, I showed this. It's instantly. This is Black Flag. This is instantly just absolutely. This is damning. This footage here. This is a 10-year-old. This is a 9-year-old game. Almost a 10-year-old game. Ubisoft took grants from the Singapore government. They promised a product. Now they have to deliver or they'll find themselves non-existent. So, that footage right there, yeah, that's Black Flag. That's Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That footage right there is why so many people are like, what on earth did y'all do? Like, I know I'm starting to sound like the guys, they got all bent out of shape because you can't land on planets in Starfield, but being able to get out of your boat, go onto an island, and get back on your boat in a pirate game, it just, I don't feel like I'm out of bounds expecting that. You said it, not me. No. I know I'm starting to sound like that. I know. And maybe there's a layer of hypocrisy. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a layer of hypocrisy in my position. Maybe there is. Because I don't think you need to be able to land and take off on the planets, you know, in Starfield. But this is even bigger than that. This isn't just, oh, I can't get out and get onto the island myself. This is, I literally can't get out and get on the island. Right? So yeah, they're not letting you personally land your ship in Starfield, but you get to get out and do stuff in the space game. And in Skull and Bones, it's not that I don't get to climb out of the boat and go to the island. They do it for me. It's that I literally can't get on the island. Like, I feel like there's a giant difference between the two. Because I know, I probably do sound like the guys that are like, it's a deal breaker. I can't land on the planet myself in Starfield. I am not being that guy. It's not important to the player in the game. No, you're right, it's not. Which just means it's not a pirate game that I would want to play. If they determined that that wasn't important, why? Because they're building a pirate ship game. They're not building a pirate game. They're building a pirate ship game. Sure, it's not important to the player. Who? The hypothetical player who wants to play a freaking pirate ship game and doesn't give a rip about going around on an island or looking for buried treasure or getting in a sword fight or shooting a gun, right? A flintlock pistol or whatever. Sure, yeah, that hypothetical player doesn't care. And I got news for you. I'm worried that hypothetical player is a small freaking group of people. Yeah, Frostbite's making a good point. Starfield is an RPG, so it's not as important, but in an action pirate game, landing on the islands would be kind of important. Agreed. The point of being a pirate is to explore not only the sea, but the land. Says Jet. The ship boarding cutscene is a huge turnoff. Yeah, you don't even board the ship, they just show a cutscene. It feels like a mobile game. I was ever expecting to get off my boat and explore islands. It just feels like a mobile game. Like, I know it, like, graphically it doesn't look like a mobile game. It actually graphically looks very good. So I'm not knocking, like, the appearance. It feels like a mobile game. It's like, that doesn't... I'm not doing anything. The combat, I mean, what else am I doing? correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the original idea of this game like ship pirate battles? So I guess the main character of the game is a pirate ship, not a pirate. I think I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why a lot of us aren't doing well with the game and what it's offering. And I think it has to do with the delay. Right? When this game first became known about, okay? When it first became known about, what happened? A lot of people said a game that you're literally just nothing but pirate ship battles doesn't sound like a game that a lot of people are going to want to play. And then they delay it and the game kind of disappears and nobody hears anything about it for like a really long time. To the point that there was a hilariously written headline that Creature and I laugh about from time to time that is, for some reason, Ubisoft is still working on Skull and Bones, right? So I think a lot of us, and this is not on the developers, I'm not faulting them for this, but I am saying what I think happened is, I think a lot of us thought they shelved the idea and reworked it, and then when it finally started coming out again, we saw clips of a pirate walking around, and we thought, they did it. They did it. They left behind the idea of just being a pirate ship and just getting in PvP battles all the time. They've reworked it. And I to a certain extent, I think that's fair. I think it's totally fair that people were like, I anticipated it being very different. Now, here's what I think they did when they kind of went back to the drawing board and they kind of decided, hey, let's kind of rework the identity of this game a little bit. I think they decided to not make it purely PvP. That's what I think they did. Because if you listen to the way they talk, they say that that's the central identity of the game. The central identity of the game is to be in PvP. And so what they ended up doing is they went back to the drawing board and they thought, we're going to have to give people the option to not constantly be in a PvP environment. So I am not faulting them for that. But I think a bunch of us thought that. We thought, oh, yeah, they're gonna change the identity of this game. They're gonna do more with it. And then when the first trailers started coming out, we saw a guy walking around and thought, oh yeah, we're gonna be able to walk around and do stuff. And they had to quickly be like, no. Some of the headlines after one of that first reveals, they're like, no, you actually can't really get off the ship. That's just you going to like a town and walking around to talk to, you know, like an NPC or something. They should have done an AC type game with no climbing. Yeah, they could have gotten rid of the climbing. If they got rid of the climbing and the stealth, I think it really would have felt like just like a pirate action adventure game. If you get rid of the wrist blade, stealth kills, Hazy Jane money, my man, I got some for Friday night. It'll be here this evening, Hilly. Thank you for the 10 spot, dude. I'm so looking forward to it, Hilly. I'm gonna have to take it a little bit easy that night, though. I'm gonna take it a little bit easy because we're getting up early the next morning and we're driving up to Ohio. Oh my gosh. So I can't go too crazy. I'll be feeling like crap. I keep coming back to the UB narratives I hear, though. They just do copy-pasta sequels, no iterations, milk their IPs, blah, blah. And now I'm hearing, I just want Black Flag 2. Yeah, but I'm being consistent, Eugene, because I defended that the other day. I said I think it makes perfectly good sense for them to use a formula. My issue with Odyssey and Valhalla, they were too dense. I had never once taken issue with the fact that they use similar systems and stuff. I actually defended that. I'm being consistent. I thought it was fine that just yesterday when we debated the whole a true sequel thing, I'm consistent. I defended Far Cry 3, 4, and 5. I defended Assassin's Creed. I said the complaints aren't that they're, just dialing in the same mechanics and same things. It was that they're too dense. That's just too much to do. At least that's where I looked at it. I looked at Odyssey and I was like, frick this. I literally won't be able to do all of this. It won't be possible. So I feel like I'm being consistent. I do agree with you. There probably is some inconsistency in people that are like, all they do is copy paste. All they do is do the same thing over and over again. And then they're like, I just wanted Black Flag 2. I just wanted Black Flag 2, bro. And then when Black Flag 2 would have come out, they'd have been like, see, man, Ubisoft just does that, dude. They just copy paste their games. Sean says, on the flip, the situation, if the game were just about fighting on land as a pirate without the ship battles, would you still think it was fair to call it a pirate game? Not because of the ship fights. Huge part of being a pirate, though, even though fighting on land and digging out treasure is also a big part. It's not all there is to being a pirate, so why would people be satisfied with just one part of being a pirate? I think you would have the same complaints if they did that, Sean, and I think the complaints would be equally valid. If they made a pirate game where you never got on a boat or had a boat, or all the boat stuff was cutscenes, you'd like walk up to your ship's captain who like reported to you, and you'd like send him on missions, and it was just all cutscenes. I think people would have every right to complain about that. They'd be like, "Why? What? That's a pirate game. I'm never getting on the boat. I'm never going and doing that." It would literally be just as lopsided. It'd be like, I don't understand. I can't go and do any of that fun stuff? That's my point. Right, I see what Sean's saying. Sean's saying flip it around and people would maybe understand more. They're not making caricature pirates from what I can tell. Yeah, they talked about that in the interview. They said they weren't going for like the Johnny Depp, parrot on your shoulder. They didn't want to do that, yeah. They wanted it to be different, for sure. Digging for buried treasure is not the pirates that they're making. Really? You might have to walk that one back. Isn't it really early in the footage that they literally show treasure maps with like red X marks a spot? That's in this trailer, is it not? It's in the trailer. Because I saw it and thought, oh, that looked just like the Black Flag one. I gotta have to find it. I don't know where it is in the trailer. Eugene, you see what I'm saying? I don't feel like they're being consistent. Do you do it? Apparently, it's a cutscene. There he is with the treasure right there on the island. Like, it's not buried, but that's pretty cliche right there. Well, that's dumb. That's what I mean. It feels like half of a game. You go to the island, you literally have a map with a red X on it, and then he's right there with a big treasure chest. I got a new photo for you, the oh no photo. What are you doing that for? Looks like you're salvaging a chest off a ship you attacked on dry land? I think that was a fort. No, I think that was a fort. There's like bases you can attack. He literally has his compass out in the frame before. You see what I mean? He's looking for it. He's looking for it. He's looking for the treasure. Where is it? Oh, here it is. He's got a compass out. You're like, where is it? Where's the treasure? It's all cutscenes, man. That's why I said it feels like a mobile game. You're like, yeah, I beat this fort. They're not even doing what they're saying they're doing. Exactly. Like, it's like, oh, we don't want to have the whole, like, Johnny Depp parrot on my shoulder thing, but you literally have the pirate on the island with the compass out, looking for the treasure and finding the treasure. So, okay, he didn't get out a shovel, but, like, he still came and found hidden treasure on an island. It's like I said, it just doesn't make any sense. It feels like they just... I'll be honest with you. This feels like a Halo situation. Remember how we learned that they like cut like 2/3 of Halo Infinite? I wouldn't be surprised if one day we learn they cut like half this game just so they could get it out of the door. Listen, just ship the naval part. We can't do the island stuff. No way, not enough time. Hidden is the reach. Yeah, it's like behind a tree. It's like behind a tree. Like, oh, it's in a shadow, you know? It's in a shadow. There's Lono. He can't miss a chance at crap on Halo. Yeah, at night, that treasure is safe. Mm-hmm. Same reason I made this photo of you over a year ago. Yeah, but the bald thing's funny. That's just a freeze frame. It's just a freeze frame. Like, I don't understand. It doesn't even look like, oh no, like my glasses are all glared up. It doesn't, I don't know. It's not your finest work. It's hard to miss chances to crap on Halo. They're infinite. Oh, that's bad. Does it have co-op matchmaking? Yeah, you can matchmake with people if you want. Yeah, you can matchmake with randoms. I'm surprised God of War is releasing this year. They'll have to compete with both this and Elden Ring for Game of the Year. Oh my. That's good. Anyone see the news on GTA? GameSpot has an article. It doesn't look good. Why doesn't it look good? Set the table for me, because we're going to talk about this probably tomorrow. What doesn't look good? You can play as a woman and they have a launch window fiscal year, but the devs think it's probably going to land closer to 2025. What doesn't look good? Yeah, this releases the day before God of War, yeah. Yeah, I'm not taking the bait, but I help me set the table for tomorrow when we cover it. The part where they're worried about making fun of marginalized group. They're being woke. GTI always made fun of everyone. It was the essence of the game. So there it is. The essence of GTA is making fun of everyone. That's an interesting summary of that game's identity. That's an interesting summary. I didn't realize that was the essence of Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto. It's definitely a game where they make fun of everybody. It was a satire of Western culture. Oh. A satire of Western culture. They show up at the same time. I love it. They show up at the same time, Eugene. It's a parody game for sure. It was profound satire. But is that the essence of the game? I'm genuinely asking questions to set the table for tomorrow. That's the essence of Grand Theft Auto, is that it's a satire. It's a parody, it's a satire. I'm well aware that the game was full of caricatures, but it's Grand Theft Auto. No, I'm not pretending it doesn't have humor. He said that the essence of the game was making fun of everybody, and I was like, really? The essence of Grand Theft Auto is making fun of everybody and being satirical. Definitely started as a satire. When's the last time you seen a woman doing in a gang or doing a heist? Well, I don't really hang out around gangs or people doing heists. But maybe watch one of those shows or documentaries on the female prisons, and it might change your mind. There's a mission where you dress up like a Google employee and you make fun of the entire office culture that we in America practice. So that means that the essence of Grand Theft Auto is making fun of everyone. Okay. All right. It'll be a good discussion tomorrow. I can't wait. I can't wait. If you played the first two Grand Theft Autos, I think you can safely say the franchise started as the act of committing Grand Theft Auto, not satire. The entire game is satire. Every ad, every character, the way people act in the city, everything. But again, you're calling it satire. I think some people would call it a caricature. Like, they do caricatures and they exaggerate, right? It's hyperbolic. Yeah, I don't think he knows what satire means. I think they do caricatures, right? Which, that's a thing. That's the thing, right? Like, well, satire does use irony and exaggeration, so maybe it is slightly satire, because caricatures are exaggeration, so he may be able to use that word and not be inaccurate. It's exaggerated. You know, it's a caricature. Sure. But the premise of the argument is that's the essence of the game, is making fun of everybody, and if they can't make fun of marginalized groups, yeah, it's bad news. The game's going to be terrible. Do you know that Skull and Bones is the real name of a secret society in the U.S.? I'm tired of this world. Wait, did you watch that movie with the guys from Dawson's Creek and you thought it was real? Did you watch that movie with the guy from Dawson's Creek and you thought it was real? That was a movie, bro. It's a big part of the identity of the series. I like how you guys show up at the same time too. That's entertaining to me. It is real. The Onion is satire. The point of satire is to point out how something is wrong. That was not the goal of GTA caricatures. Caricatures are impersonations of a person. They're impersonating a world. It's satire. You're just being pedantic. You could say it's a caricature of business. It's a caricature of Google. Caricature has a range of meaning, and so does satire. Where you're using the same word. You're just being pedantic. Unsurprising. Satire is exaggeration of existing things to point out their irony. That's quite literally the definition of a caricature. You exaggerate certain things for the sake of comedy. Like we're saying the same things. Skull and Bones are an evil society. Some criminals above all laws. I swear it's 2 p.m. Eastern. Do some of you guys literally just get baked and drunk out of your mind before coming in here? What the frick? Yeah, there we go. Most presidents before Obama and Trump were members of the Skull and Bones Society. That's it. Shut it down. I'm going members. I'm scheduling members only and getting the frick out of here. I'm done. I'm done. Can't take it. What's today? Wednesday? Frick out of here. I'm done. Monetized. Next. I can't get out of here fast enough. Members only time. You guys think I'm kidding. I'm not doing a bit. I'm literally going to members and redirecting. Done. You guys want to come in here and do this? You want to come in here and hijack and say brain dead stupid crap and take over the stream? It's a stream about Skull and Bones. Oh man, GTA, woke garbage. Cool, bye. Next, I'll just start banning you. What happened? I missed it? Well, you're not going to miss the members only content. You're a member. Click on the link. We're freaking blowing this popsicle stand. I'm scared of the truth, and that's a ban. But what if they're right? What if they're right, chat? Let's get the frick out of here. You want to disrupt my chat? Cool. Like, I'm not doing this again today. No. We had a subject, we had a good time talking about it, and it ran its course. And now Crazy Town shows up. Well, Crazy Town's going to soon probably all be banned anyway, but I don't want to hang out with you anymore. I want to go hang out with the members. If you're not a member, I'm sorry. I can't freaking do this another day. It's just so taxing on my mind and my mental health and my blood pressure. So if you can afford the $5, consider doing it, because I'm going to start banning these guys. It's just so freaking irritating. They literally come in with the goal of disrupting chat, and then we just hemorrhage. We just hemorrhage viewers because of it. You're corrosive to our community and what we try to do here. So your time here is running out. Hey, if you clicked on this, it's a members only stream. We end every day hanging out with members, chilling, talking, strategizing, thinking about different ways that we can create content, do segments, have fun. Don't forget, if you're a member and you're watching this Friday night is community game night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're playing Fall Guys. Get it installed. And we'll be having a good time. You got to make sure you're in the Discord as well. There's Discord links below. You can use that to get into the content. I'm going to end the previous stream. Wait, I don't have redirect set up yet. Hang on. Edit, customization, redirect. I truly am. Anybody still in the audience that's not a member, I truly am sorry. I'm not doing this today. We ran out of content. I ran out of questions. I ran out of topic. We're 2 hours in, and Crazy Town shows up and wants to derail. So I'm bailing. So I'm just so freaking